All right, legends, let's go and analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Do we have a very interesting week ahead of us? We do have the interest rate decision coming, of course, and we have been pumping throughout the last 10 days. Are we going to continue pumping with slight corrections and continue the momentum to all-time high, legends? Let me know what you think in the poll, in the comment section right away, you legends. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin all together. Okay, first of all, let's go through the comment section, and if we do get to 500 likes on this live stream, I'm doing a $500 giveaway right away. Let's see if we do manage to get there. Smash up the like button on your way in. I'm going to go quickly through the comment section. We got a very important week, guys. On Wednesday, we do have interest rate decision, and we have been kind of pumping into this event, right? Which makes it a little bit, is it going to continue bullish, right? Everybody's excited because of the interest rate cuts, right? We're going to get those interest rate cuts. This means it's more bullish, right? We'll be going through this data eventually and come to some conclusion, but most importantly, going through the technical analysis here on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is at a crucial zone. And the way we have pumped into this area throughout the last 2 weeks, basically from the beginning of September, is not the greatest way how we've got up there, okay? Not the greatest way. Of course, the momentum is bullish and the momentum still could continue because the movements to the downside that we have formed throughout the last few days are corrective structures for the moment, meaning that the highs, the recent highs that have been created, are likely to be hit, even the ones that have been created throughout yesterday. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, okay? Smashing up that like button, and let's go right away through the comment section. Daniel, how are you doing, my man? Thanks for joining the stream today. Kevin Pang, what's the look on ICP? I do have ICP here. I am a little bit concerned. Same scenario. I do think that there is a good chance that ICP does test the $4.20 low, okay? We'll be going through ICP and a few of the altcoins later on throughout the stream. Of course, the high cap coins are the ones that are most important, okay? I'm going to go quickly through the comment section, and then we are going to do Bitcoin most importantly and get ready for the outcome of this week, okay, legends? Staffer1, the legend himself, how are you doing, brother? Much love to you. Let's go, Andy, go around for one more pullback and then break through this resistance. Derek, very much a possibility, okay? We'll do a little bit of higher time frame perspective on the price of Bitcoin, where we at the moment, and we're going to analyze the movement down and the movement up, okay? This is what we are going to analyze mainly throughout this stream, and most importantly, the movement up from the lows, okay? Super important that I get your attention here. The price is bullish, the trend has changed, and we'll be discussing a few scenarios that could happen, okay? Throughout the week, most importantly, we try and map the situation with a few scenarios, and one of the scenarios is going to play out eventually, right, with those levels of interest, and that's what you need to be ready for, okay, for your possible trading setups. Daniel Singleton, much love to you, brother. Hit the like button. Marco, much love to you, brother. Is 105, 107K still in play? It is one of the scenarios. It is one of the local bearish case scenarios that is still possibly in play. 107K, the lows, still very possible. The moment the probabilities will decrease is when you get above $119,000. If you get above the golden pocket from all-time high to the pivot low, that is the moment that the probabilities significantly decrease for a sharp double zigzag, okay? That means that you're very likely going to form a sideways corrective structure to then inevitably hit all-time high. But this scenario is still valid as long as you stay below $119,000, okay? So we're gonna be talking about that. That is for sure. That is one of the main topics of today, guys, okay? So make sure to absolutely you know, get your cup of tea, your water, beer, Coca-Cola, your juice, or whatever you want, because we have a few things to talk about on Bitcoin here to discuss, which are very important. So we're not going to pump this September 17th. Well, you know the thing, these kind of events can definitely be some kind of a sell the news event, right? When you pump, right, this is the hype that you form throughout the last 1 to 2 weeks. Very likely we're going to get the cuts. Is it going to be 25 basis points? It might be 50, right? People are excited because of this event. And of course, you pump before the event happens, right? You're pumping into this event, into major resistance, where you do still have a bearish case scenario, okay? Which is this one right over here. There is still this scenario, which looks very attractive still. And it's just a moment to be cautious, okay? It's a moment to be cautious. This is not a zone to be extremely bullish when you're coming into some major resistance zones, okay? Value area low, point of control, 50% golden pocket. The probabilities for Bitcoin is to come and hit all-time high. That is, there's no doubt about it. This movement to the downside, there is no high probability way of counting it as an impulsive move to the downside, which you would expect eventually, continuation very aggressively throughout the next coming months, right? There's no way in counting it successfully as an impulse, not even a multiple 1-2. The only 1-2 that you would have right now would be this 1-2 and this being another 1 and 2, which does not look good for the bearish case, right? It's just your second 1 and 2 is extremely longer, okay, in time than your first 1 and 2. So that's kind of out of the cards, right? This is highly likely a corrective structure, which means that all-time highs is a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Will it be, September? Will it be October? Will it be November? Right? Before the end of the year, very, very likely that we do hit all-time high. So there's no doubt about it that all-time high has the highest probability. However, the main question right now, where the price is sitting, is there a chance to come and claim the low at 107K? And that chance is still very much valid until you hit $109,000. And the main reason, $119,000. The main reason why, when we consider Elliott wave theory, when you think about a sharp corrective double zigzag in a WXY, your max zone is 50% to the golden pocket. This is like your max zone for it to be a sharp double zigzag. The moment you do cross above the golden pocket, right, that is the moment where a sharp zigzag significantly decreases in probabilities, right? And a sideways corrective structure gains the highest probability scenario, which you could end up in a triangle, okay? Once you get up there, eventually you're looking for a possible triangle, or you're looking for a possible flat structure, okay, that eventually takes you to all-time high later on. Or maybe you do actually form an impulse. Maybe this is the middle stages of an impulse, which would be this scenario right over here. This one right over here, where you finished a WXY, and right now you are in the middle stages of your wave 3. You formed a wave 1, wave 2. I don't like this price action for a wave 3. The only scenario here would be multiple 1-2s, and you get a nice explosion here throughout the next coming days, 4 and 5s. It's still very possible. A larger 4 and then a 5. You form an impulsive move throughout the next few days, right? Next coming week or so. Then eventually, once we get this information, we realize that it's just imminent that we take out all-time high, right? Maybe we do get a nice little pullback in a 3-wave structure later on throughout the end of September. And then we look eventually for that massive rally. So I don't like it too much, if I'm honest with you. but we are uptrending. We're moving down very correctively. There's no signs of weakness. So we need to go with the bullish case. We realize that all-time high is the highest probability, despite of whatever happens in this area. Despite if we do claim below 107K or we don't, taking out all-time high is the highest probability. And the main reason why is because this movement down is corrective. It's a corrective structure. So this is the thing. Let's go through comment section quickly, say hello to the rest of the community. Is it laggy? We got a little bit of lag here. Let me just double check the connection, my legends. We've got somebody here in the comment section saying epic signals that we did have in the VIP here from Marco, from Dylan. Dylan is the one that is focusing on altcoins and he's been absolutely crushing a few of the altcoins here with this massive rally. Got into XRP, Avalanche in the signals channel. I'm mainly focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum swing positions. Okay, but Dylan is absolutely crushing it, taking advantage of this major push to the upside on altcoins, Avalanche, XRP, ENA, many different ones throughout the last week inside of the VIP channel. I'm mainly focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum, chilled swing positions, okay? If you are interested in joining the VIP, you can send me a DM directly to the first link, guys. Sign up with one of the links down below, either Bluffin or Weeks. Do a minimum deposit. You got insane perks on Bluffin or Weeks, 20% deposit on Weeks. On Bluffin, you do have also that 10% deposit if you wish. And you can get inside of the VIP channel where we do provide the setups that we are getting into, okay? So yeah, we've got some really great setups on some altcoins from Dylan in the VIP. Let's go right away. Hello from Texas. It is laggy. Let me know. I thought it's my net. Yeah, a bit laggy. Let me just double check here the internet connection, guys, because it seems like we're getting a little bit of lag here. Connection seems good. Connection seems green. Let's talk about also, before we dive in through Bitcoin and the different possibilities that we can form throughout the next coming days, is Solana, guys. Solana has been absolutely ripping, okay? Solana has been going through the roof. Let's take a look at Solana, guys, because Solana, my goodness, it's been absolutely rocketing. And we actually talked about this scenario a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if any of you guys were here a few weeks ago, but whoever got into Solana a few weeks ago on the pullback, we're going to zoom in literally to this scenario because lots of people would believe that this is some kind of a corrective, right, wedgie structure, which, has the danger of breaking down. But we were very much confident on an analysis here a few weeks ago. I don't do much altcoins, you know that, guys, but when we pull them out, we take a look at a few of them and discuss where they at. And just a few weeks ago, we talked about Solana when it was trading at a $210 to wait for a pullback to $195 range, which is, between the 50% and the 7/8 Fibonacci from the latest move to the upside, because this could be bubbling up right away to get an explosive breakout. This is ready to break to the upside massively, which is what has happened throughout, this week, basically. And we did get one more pullback on Solana when we were trading at $210. This is the moment on the 29th of August that we analyzed Solana, and we were talking about the multiple 1-2 setup here, which is looking super juicy. The waves are getting smaller into the wedge. The movements up are looking very impulsive, and this is ready to break out. And surprise, surprise, we retraced to 195 golden pocket zone. That's where we retraced. And, this was basically giving you the best entry possible based on, the analysis that we made here 2 weeks ago to get in here at the $195, $200 range. Wait for that pullback because it looks an imminent breakout here. imminent breakout, wedging out. And, you know, maybe some of you eventually got into this Solana trade. I was just pointing this out, okay, because I do take a look at some altcoins on the streams, but I kind of forget about them, right? These are just some suggestions that people say, can you take a look at Solana? Can we take a look at that? And we take a look at them. And eventually Solana being one of the biggest L1s, we've seen Bitcoin exploding the last, you know, few months, few years, then Ethereum hitting all-time high, and Solana, Avalanche, right? Those are the top L1s, and those are the ones that you need to give attention and love when we do consider the money flow, right? Basically the money flow. You must have seen this throughout everywhere, right? The large caps, mainly the L1s, the good L1s, are the ones that are likely going to, you know, get that next push up, which has happened in the last 1 to 2 weeks, right? So Solana being one of them, Avalanche being one of them. XRP's, you know, had a little bit of a move to the upside, nothing too great, but overall, you know, this is what we want to pay attention to. So when we were analyzing Solana a couple of weeks ago, it was inevitable that, you know, we're looking for a nice big move of 20, 30%, you know, even more than that in the next couple of weeks. And, you know, that's basically what has happened on Solana, right? Since we did the analysis here, it broke the top of the wedge. The ascending wedge, you know, got broken, which is, you know, what we were anticipating on the analysis here eventually on Solana just a few weeks ago. So anyway, Bitcoin is the one that's going to lead the movements. I am a little bit concerned, guys. We need to talk about the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance, we need to talk about it because it is at a very crucial pivot zone. Super important. You should have been positioned already on altcoins. You know, if you missed the rally, it's not a moment to FOMO in, okay? It is seriously at a dangerous pivot point. And people that are using leverage, right, on some coins and looking to jump in on the pumps, it is at a very, very crucial zone. I thought we were going to get the bounce earlier on the Bitcoin dominance, but I'll show you here, based on the level where it is right now, how, you know, this is a very, very important support on the Bitcoin dominance. And we have got a significant dump on the dominance. Not to bring fear, guys. I do think that the altcoin season and the crypto bull market eventually is going to continue very aggressively throughout the end of the year. But I think a possible little shakeout could be on the horizon, right? When the Bitcoin dominance, you want to be positioned before the drop happens, right? When the drop has been, you know, pretty big already, you are looking for some kind of a bounce to happen at some point, which is going to bring that correction eventually to many of the altcoins. Where this is sitting at right now, it's just a simple support resistance flip. When we do take a look at this zone of 57, 58%, we did find big support there. Okay, and that's literally where we currently are at the moment. When we do analyze the waves to the downside, it's probably an extensive, you know, first wave that you had here, right? You are moving down, but you are losing that momentum, and it looks inevitable that some kind of a relief bounce is going to happen here on the Bitcoin dominance, guys. It looks kind of inevitable. I'm not expecting the waterfall to continue in the next coming weeks. So just to be cautious, people that are using high leverage, right, that have not been positioned, the people that have been positioned on many altcoins, make sure to collect some profits, right? Obviously in the VIP channel, we do talk about, you know, day trading setups. Dylan has been very successfully providing those altcoin pumps, Avalanche, XRP, and many other different ones, okay, looking for the nice entry points. But if you're looking to enter some altcoins now, considering the Bitcoin dominance where it is and how it's moved down very aggressively in the last few weeks, it starts to become a little bit dangerous, okay? Anyway, We're going to dive in through Bitcoin mainly, okay? Just wanted to point out that Solana, epic trade, guys, the level that we talked about just a few weeks ago. I mean, how good was that? Jump in here at the $1.95, 200 zone, stop loss here at below 190 and look for the breakout. So whoever's got into this swing trade is making absolute bank, because Solana has, I don't know, from the entry point that we mentioned just 2 weeks ago, which is from hitting this high, look for the pullback, stop loss beneath 190, basically this low. If you get stopped out, we're looking for a possible flat and then move up, right? I mean, yeah, prices moved up over 20%, right? Which could have brought you some massive profits based on the entry point on Solana, right? I mainly focus on Bitcoin, but I just remembered Solana from the analysis a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to point that out here on the stream. So anyway, let's go right away through Bitcoin. Smash that like button if you do like the analysis. It's fine on my end. Valerie, okay, good. A bit laggy. Some people are saying my connection says it's good on my side. So hopefully it's going to fix. Can you check ADA price action? We can take a look at some altcoins later on. Brother, Bitcoin dominance is in a bear market. If we dump, I will be very happy. I will buy more ICP and low caps. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's just a small relief rally, right? I would expect the Bitcoin dominance to completely collapse throughout the end of the year or entering into 2026. But a relief rally seems very imminent, okay? A little relief rally. Maybe it's not too much, maybe 2, 3, 4%. And then ultimately, I would be looking for continuation to the downside. It's just a short-term warning, right? Just to be cautious. If you have spot bags, then it's fine. Your spot bags, you just hold the bags, right? Diamond hands, it doesn't matter if it goes up and down. But just to be aware for all of those traders out there that Bitcoin dominance is at good support. A little relief rally is very much a possibility here where it's currently sitting. So the price of Bitcoin, where it is right now, it is coming into big resistance zone. A lot of people are hyped up. Let me just double check here the poll, because the poll is a 50-50, guys. The poll question is, what happens the rest of September? If you haven't got your votes in, make sure to vote. People are saying 50% are saying pump, 50% are saying dump. It's a 50-50, guys. 50-50 on the poll right now. What happens in September? Dump or pump? We have already been pumping throughout the hype of the interest rate cuts. And the price of Bitcoin is at a very crucial zone where it's going to decide this week if we are going to be coming down to $107,000. It's this week where it's going to be decided, depending on the local price action. And I'll tell you 2 pivots, okay, where we are going to invalidate the possibility of coming down to $107,000. The pivot number 1 eventually for that to happen is coming above the golden pocket, literally hitting $119,000. If you get above the golden pocket in the next coming days, basically this week, the probabilities of coming down to $107,000 significantly decrease, because a sharp double zigzag, we are looking at this to be a corrective structure. It's not impulsive. A sharp double zigzag, once you cross the golden pocket, it decreases massively that you're going to come and claim this low. And this would confirm that the low is in, and eventually you're going to take out all-time high at some point, and you're likely going to form a sideways corrective structure, giving you the flat one option, then up, or possibly a large consolidation throughout the rest of September, entering into October, to then explode out and hit all-time high. But as long as we are below the golden pocket, or even hitting the golden pocket is an option, we could still come down in that sharp double zigzag, guys. I don't want to be the bear here. The probabilities for Bitcoin is hitting all-time high. I do know that the highest probability is coming to hit all-time high. It's the short-term analysis that I'm concerned about. That what, you know, is this the low? And we take out the highs with this rally with the pullbacks, and we just, you know, rally with pullbacks hitting all-time high. Do we hit 119, 120K? We form a sideways range and then we hit all-time high? Or do we claim 107K, slightly lower, and then claim all-time high throughout maybe October, November? You know, I am bullish higher time frame, and the probabilities are to hit all-time high in the next coming weeks, give or take a couple of months. The overall question is right now, what kind of structure do we develop? And as mentioned, you can be confident as soon as the price gets to 119, 120K, that this is very likely going to be the low. And what you're looking at here is for long opportunities, depending on what structure you do develop here. What would be a confirmation level that we are going to be hitting eventually 107K? And it's super simple. It's basically market structure as well. Claiming this higher low at 110.7 is going to be the confirmation. As long as you maintain below $119,000, whatever happens, you know, throughout this week, if the price does manage to claim below 111K, this is the confirmation pivot for me that we highly likely going to claim the pivot low here of the 1st of September at 107.2K. So this is how you need to kind of map the situation, right? Where you understand we hit 119K, confirmation pivot that all-time high is going to be hit regardless, right, of what happens next in this zone. But the low is very likely in if we hit 119 to 120K. If we hit this pivot, this higher low based on the structure, that will be the confirmation that we're likely going to claim 107.2K. And you may ask, but why, right? What does that have to do with, you know, the price coming down there or not, or bouncing, right? Well, it's, you know, mainly the structure. You have that three-wave move. This is the major higher low of this consolidation. And also, if you looking at Elliott wave theory, your most bullish case scenario, if the low were to be in, right? We get the WXY here. If this is a wave 1 and this is your wave 2, we say that this is a sideways WXY. It's a range structure. And then the breakout happened this week, right? Where we got the movement to the upside. So this would have to be your second wave 1 and 2. If you get a corrective structure throughout the next coming days, right? Where you move down here, you overlap, right? It's very choppy, very rangy, something similar to this, maybe slightly to the downside. You're going to realize that, yes, this could very much likely be a 1-2-1-2. If you get the choppiness and overlap between the waves here, you're very likely looking at a double 1-2. And, you know, you're looking for a pop later on throughout the next coming weeks to claim all-time high. So it's a zone that we're going to be paying very much attention in the Legends Pro community, because I'm more interested in swing positions, okay? But we're going to be watching carefully if we move down from here, what kind of movements we're forming, right? Because a double 1-2 is on the cards. It's on the cards. I will realize that we are in a double 1-2 once we form, you know, lots of overlap. If you get a three-wave move and you get this overlap, right, from the bounce, you realize that this is corrective, and that's, you know, it's just a matter of time that you break out and claim this high. So we're going to be paying attention to how we move down here if we were to move down. On the other scenario, for the bears, if we move down very aggressively in a 5-wave move, right? Volume increasing on the 3rd wave, little sideways choppy correction here for your wave 4. Boom, we create another low. Then this is the moment where the bounce, we want it to be overlappy and choppy. That is the moment that we can confirm that this is looking pretty damn good for the price to get down here. I mean, I'm obviously doing this drawing, but this could be obviously more in a tighter range, okay? So yeah, it's going to be crucial to see if we do get an aggressive drop down in a 5-wave structure, increasing volume, pretty aggressive move down here, and the bounce will be studied very carefully, because if you get lots of overlap, price action, the uptrend that we form looks like a kind of a bear flag situation, a lot of choppiness, low volume. That's the moment that we're going to say, guys, I think we're actually going to break down here, right? So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, that is for sure. It's going to be a very, very interesting week. We're going to get volatility. We're going to get some pretty decent movements, and we're going to try and be in the right side of the market. Okay, so I don't like this to be an impulse, guys. It doesn't look correct. It doesn't look nice. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry for being a little bit skeptical about coming all the way up, because I am bullish on Bitcoin. I do hold most of my Bitcoin still in my portfolio, and I will only start selling once we cross all-time high again, just because I realize that all-time high is very likely to happen again throughout this year. So it's just the short midterm that you're like, there is still that chance here, very, very aggressive chance that we do come down and visit 107.2K. And it will be very easy to identify, guys. It will be very, very easy to identify. Very, very easy, okay? For the moment, we are uptrending still. We're basically chopping around and consolidating. What we need is that aggressive drop. We need the aggressive drop. We need the aggressive drop in a 5-wave move. This is the moment that the alarm sound, right? This is like, whoops, right? This is not a corrective move. It's looking pretty aggressive, volume increasing on the drop. And eventually what we do see here with the volume, the momentum that we are getting throughout the last, few days, is the volume decreasing, guys, throughout all of the exchanges, right? You're getting the volume decreasing very aggressively. That's not really what you want to see coming into resistance. So this is very choppy. It can be very corrective. It does look a bit corrective. We do have a 3-wave move down. Let's focus here on the lower time frame. But as mentioned, it's going to be easy to identify the probabilities later on throughout the week, guys. Depending on the drop here, it will be very, very easy to identify, if it is impulsive or not. And eventually the bounce, we need to eye that it is corrective. Very choppy bounce, very poor, lots of overlap. Then we're going to be very, very confident that a lower high is going to be created here. Very, very confident. It won't be that complicated, okay? And eventually looking for that next leg to the downside, right? Because with this theory, we need the first leg down, guys. Like I said, I'm talking about the bearish case scenario locally here, but it is very crucial that we do get the big impulsive move down, right? Because we have changed the downtrend structure from all-time high. There's no doubt about it. Bulls are in control for the last week, and it is bullish still till we get our first major sign of weakness. And the good thing about this is once we get this sign of weakness, is then what you want to be in, right? Where you want to get in is in the 3rd waves, right? You want to probably be in this wave, right? This one right over here. You want to be on the lower time frames. If you're looking at the 5-minute, 15-minute, the zone that I longed here was realizing the break of structure We entered this long last Monday in the Legends VIP Legends Pro. It was a small position. I added to the position basically in this zone because we realized the triangle breakout. We realized how this could be a finished WXY or a triangle. It's just ready for this to potentially have the last higher low and claim 113.5K. So I added very aggressively to that position to maximize profits on that long position. So the thing is, the moment you take out this low, this higher low, guys, we know that the market moves in 3 waves or 5 waves, right? You can say whatever you want, but the market moves in 3 waves or in 5 waves. It always does. It always does. So if you were to move down aggressively here in a first wave down and the bounce is very choppy, you realize that, you know, you're probably going to get a pretty aggressive third wave down in a C wave or a third wave, right? Well, literally we're looking for a double zigzag, so it would be an ABC. But you are looking for another leg down. And this is like the best zone. Once you get that leg down, wherever it bounces, it doesn't matter. This is the bounce is where you want to get in eventually, because you realize that this structure no longer becomes bullish. There's no multiple 1-2. There's no nothing here. It's a 3-wave move down that's basically got, you know, the last higher low to be struck. And you just realize that the highest probability is getting another leg down here. So this becomes your highest probability zone to identify, you know, to get into a short. It's like very, very high probability short setup. So as long as that doesn't happen, the market is bullish. This could have been a, you know, ABC or WXY 3-wave structure. We have both scenarios here, which is, you know, either the WXY, which would be a finished structure. This is the low, or it's an ABC, and the larger correction structure does continue, right? Which would be that aggressive, you know, double zigzag. And that's really what we're looking at. And you know, I do really like this scenario. I really do like the possibility of this happening. But obviously on the lower time frame, we're still bullish. We're moving down very choppy and very corrective. There's no sign of weakness. It's just maintaining the uptrend structure that we developed in the last, you know, 10 days. The structure is bullish. And it's very common to just hit the highs, hit the highs, hit the highs, hit the highs, till one of those highs, you know, literally doesn't break, and then you get the breakdown, right? So sometimes you need to say, you know what? I'm going to be patient before I try and, you know, catch the highs. I'm going to wait for the sign of weakness, right? When people say sign of weakness or sign of strength, well, the sign of weakness here would be getting the breakdown, right? Getting the first leg down to confirm that this no longer looks good, right? This uptrend does not look good. And as we realize that the market moves in either 3 waves or 5 waves, always, guys, okay, it can be very complex 3-wave structures, but it always moves in 3 or 5 waves. You realize that if you have that first leg down, that the next leg down, regardless if you bounce to the 50% or the 618 or the 382, it doesn't really matter. You realize that the next leg down is going to be the sharp one. And that's the one that you want to participate in, right? You want to participate in that third wave, right? Just like you would have wanted to participate in this third wave to the upside here, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Because there is 3 waves here to the upside, right? When we do take a look here at the boxes, I do have some boxes here. This is a 3-wave move for the moment. For the moment, this is a 3-wave move. You got the leg up. Very nice sideways momentum throughout last week, and now the push up this week. It's a 3-wave move, right? When we do try and, you know, get everything together. So, you know, this is where it looks very interesting. It's like when we do count the possibility of the bullish case, I don't like this price action. This price action is, sorry my language here, but it's bullshit. I see this price action as BS. The fact that we have a triangle here Hang on a second. I got the dogs that want some attention. So the fact here that we formed this sideways momentum is not the best here for a start of a major impulse. I have to be honest here. When I do try to find a strong impulsive move to the upside, we got this first leg up, and then you got all of this mess, which you kind of have to see this as a correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction. So yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, it's possible. And this right over here is, you know, the start of your third wave. It's not technically long enough. It doesn't look too great. Of course, you can get a shallow pullback here, create another high. Then all of this is your wave 3. Then you need another 4 and another 5 and 4 and 5 to, you know, basically label these 1-2s. So then you're finishing a major impulsive move up here. It's not the best. It's not the best kind of 1-2s that I mean, it's still very much valid. Don't get me wrong. It is still very much a valid count here. But the triangle fits so nicely. This scenario fits, you know, incredibly well, which is literally you get your first leg up here, a triangle structure in your wave B, which, you know, you have the perfect 5 pivots. It's a running triangle. And then you have this leg to the upside with decreasing volume, right? It's just like, you know, it's like the perfect storm here to really see weakness in this zone for the moment in the next coming days. However, you know, the market is still bullish. The market is still bullish. You do have the possible multiple 1-2 scenario. You also have the wave 1, 2 in a WXY. There is a WXY possible count in here. You have the momentum forming here to the upside. This could also correct down where you get that movement down, lots of overlap. If you form this kind of price action in the next coming days, it's going to be bullish. It's going to be a large correction, just like this nonsense right over here. Just a bunch of nonsense and lots of overlap, which eventually is uptrending, and you're just going to label this as a possible second 1 and 2. We'll try and identify this in the pro community and also in the VIP. Try and identify if it is very, very corrective, lots of overlap, because this could be actually the moment where we do get that explosive third wave right to the end of September. So yeah, for the moment, this is what we got. Let's zoom in here on the lower time frame. And, you know, what we got here is a 3-wave move to the downside. It looks very 3-wavy. Okay. We got a very, very 3-wave move up here. And then you got this bounce right there. This looks incredibly corrective for the moment. You are uptrending, higher lows, higher highs. And you might think this is a 3-wave structure. Well, we should be taking out this high. The only moment that this would become bearish, okay, is if you lose the lows here. You lose this low right over here. Eventually, you're looking for a bounce and another low over here. That's the moment that we can identify this, but this is like really speculative. It's not even worth talking about because we are bullish. We are moving down very correctively. And, you know, eventually with this 3-wave move down, we've actually overlapped this pivot and almost hit this pivot high also. So there's nothing too bearish about this move, giving a high chance for the moment that the highs at 116.6 are very likely going to be taken unless we form this kind of price action. And this kind of price action is forming a contracting diagonal, okay? Where you have your wave 1, wave 2 is in from today. You get the lows being taken. That's when this is going to be interesting. Wave 3, you get a wave 4 and a wave 5 here. You form some kind of a contracting diagonal. You claim the lows, bounce, claim the lows again. that's the moment that it can be looking weak, okay, and that the highs could be in. I mean, eventually it's not even worth talking about this for the moment till you actually have, you know, your pivot 3 and your pivot 4. Once you are at the wave 4, then it becomes interesting to speculate on this scenario where you do get the bounce later on, and this could be your wave 2 eventually, and you're looking for the rollover later on. But this is the thing, right? When not every single 3-wave structure to the downside, even though if it gets overlap, is going to be corrective, because you have the contracting diagonal option, which, you know, has happened many times in the past as well, right? I mean, I want to look for an example here. Where could there be a good example here where you form a contracting diagonal? It looks very 3-wavy. You do have one right over here, potentially. Yeah, you've got one right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, no, this was a 3-wave. This was a double 1, 2. They do happen, especially when you've been moving up to the highs very aggressively. I'm trying to spot one here, guys. There was one throughout. Can't remember exactly where. Yeah, this one right over here. This one was interesting. This one was very interesting. And this was quite easy to identify because we had a double zigzag to the upside. This was the contracting diagonal that we formed. Okay, right over there in a 5-waver. You had a zigzag move up here, correction, and another zigzag move up here. And you are uptrending, right? You are uptrending. It looks like that, you know, we're obviously going to go to higher levels, right? We are in an uptrend throughout a few weeks here. This was back in March of 2025 of this year. So, and then you have this, right? You've got a 3-waver, you overlap, right? You have another low, and it's like, oh, you know, this actually looks corrective, right? Because you have a 3-wave move down, and then you form this pivot, right? Which is your wave, in this case, wave 4, wave 5, corrective move, last one, and then the dump down, right? So eventually with this price action, when you've been rallying so much, speculating, you know, when you do have a bearish case scenario, which is that double zigzag, speculating on longs here right now becomes dangerous. It becomes dangerous on these shallow pullbacks, in my opinion, because you eventually can get trapped with believing it's a corrective structure, and what you form is a contracting diagonal, right? Which eventually looks bullish. You kind of get the breakout of the wedge, and then it does this. And after having a 3-wave structure like this, and you know, the triangle scenario here, which is this one, it just doesn't become the best zone to long the pullbacks, in my opinion. So, and you know, the clearest example was that one from March that I've just showed you, right? Which is, you know, you're looking for that, to this to be a wedgie corrective structure. And we actually talked about this on a stream. We talked about this scenario, and this did break out from the resistance, because you got your wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this bounce breaks the resistance. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get this breakout, and then back down. And this was your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and 5, right? So yeah, this is it's a tricky area, right? I wouldn't be too bullish here, without a doubt, having that massive macro bear, well, not macro, but higher time frame bearish case scenario, which is that it's the double zigzag possibility here, right? And you know, a lot of the bulls are going to disagree here. It's just a zone to be cautious about, guys. It is an area 50% to the golden pocket from all-time high to the pivot low, when you formed a 3-wave move for the moment to the upside, you do have still a local bearish case, and just to be aware, okay, just to be aware. I mean, we did long here. We were bullish in this zone. We were bullish here at this zone as well. Very likely going to take out 113k, right? But the bullishness has happened already, and we're just very much aware of the bearish case. Okay, you need to be aware of the bearish case eventually, because if you're only blinded on the bullish case, then you will get surprised, right? And it is bullish. It is still bullish till it's not. So just for anybody that's asking about this scenario of we formed a 3-wave move down, shouldn't this be a corrective structure with this bounce? Well, you do have the option as well of the contracting diagonal, right? Which could form that wedgie structure, get the breakout, and then obviously it's a fake out later on, right? Just on some possible scenarios that could happen, right? Let's go through the comment section right away. Of course, let's talk about the levels, the main levels of resistance and support that we do have on Bitcoin, guys. Right now, Weeks has an awesome bonus, okay? They got 20% deposit bonus depending on what you deposit, and the volume that you move, right? You will get that deposit bonus, okay? Up to $2,000 on this 20% deposit bonus, guys. Take advantage of that. You got Weeks or Bluffin that do give us that massive bonus for the community. Bluffin is second link. Weeks is the fourth link. If you sign up and deposit, you get access to the VIP community, okay? Where, Dylan, I share my trades on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Very chilled way of trading. And Dylan is on the altcoins, absolutely smashing it throughout this week. Avalanche, XRP, a couple of other ones as well. And you do get access to the VIP, guys. Super simple. Send me a DM right away on the first link, guys, and we'll hop you in the VIP. Join the legends. Let's go through the comment section, but first of all, let's go through the most important levels of resistance. Of course, above us, there is a very, very juicy lower high here, right, at 107.2. It is a juicy lower high. We do know that is a big area of resistance, because just above that lower high, we do have the point of control of this entire range, right? You could arguably discuss that we are just dancing around at the value area low. Some people do count this as the rest of the range as well. You do get the fixed volume profile, and you add this range as well. And people say, well, we got above, right? Well, this was the resistance of the neckline of the inverted head and shoulder. But this is the real value area low zone, in my opinion, because this is a new completely range down here. So, this is one range, this is another range down here. So, crucial area, value area low, point of control, weekly naked point of control, basically is sitting at that zone where we have the point of control of the range. And we do have the golden pocket. Golden pocket, the most respected Fibonacci. We are dancing around at the 50% right now, which is very, very common zone of rejection if we consider a double zigzag, guys. Very, very skeptical here of what happens with Bitcoin. Okay, yes, we can claim the highs. Movements down are looking corrective for the moment, so it does look like that the highs could be taken, but very skeptical about the strength here. I'm very, very skeptical about, are the movements up gonna be strong, as we do have decreasing volume. And if we were to get that movement up, $118,000 becomes our biggest level of resistance from the last 3 months, counting July. The biggest resistance to tackle, which might get front run, guys. If the double zigzag is going to play out, it might get front run, but it's the biggest zone. Golden pocket, point of control of the range, naked point of control on the weekly. It's a big area, 118K. Big level. Okay, so yeah, let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Let me know if anybody got into this Solana long trade. Eventually, it's a swing trade position, right? We talk about the projection that could happen, right, in the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? We always give a little bit of room on the projection. We're not talking about a little scalp, right? Get in here, get out here as soon as we pump 2%, right? these are higher time frame projections, and holy smokes, guys, this retraced exactly to the entry zone that we talked about just 2 weeks ago, to $195 when we were trading here on the 29th of August at, you know, basically the highs of this uptrend. We got the pullback and we got the breakout, which is currently trading at $240, right? Over a 20% pump. And the projection was really looking at a couple of weeks here. Let me know in the comment section, right? If anybody is, you know, does trade altcoins, you know, this was a very good call 2 weeks ago. And eventually it's a swing trade, guys. This doesn't happen in a day or two, right? This is why we talk about the projections. And yeah, this happened, guys. It's literally happening, right? It's on the way after getting that pullback down to the zone of interest that we mentioned at the 50% golden pocket, right? When we were trading at $210, we got the pullback, we got the rally. So yeah, these are swing trades. You need to have a little bit of a swing trade mentality, guys, as well when we look at these projections, because a lot of people, you know, will have profits in 2 days and they'll be like, well, you know, I'm gonna quickly take profits right away, because, you know, if you have the analysis on the projections, the projection that we had based on the analysis here is that this is going to pop out strong. It's going to likely pop out in the next 1 to 2 weeks based on the multiple 1-2s, you know, and it's doing so, right? So maybe some of you did jump into that Solana long position. Let's go right away through comment section. Andy, good morning, mi amigo, blessings. LFG, damp. ALJR, much love to you, brother. Hope you're doing well, yourself and your family. Much love to everybody here in the comment section, smashing up that like button. Let's go, legends. We've got over 400 people. If we get to 500 likes, we're going to give $500 today, right now. If we do get to 500 likes, it seems like people don't give a fuck to hit the like button. So we probably won't do that giveaway. Sorry for my language here, guys, but I don't know. People don't like to like. Let's take a look at some altcoins here for the legends. Nathan, no one knows whether a new all-time high or new low is coming. Just react to the data given. All I know is TPD, 80% of my Doge long at 0.3 and flipped into an ETH short. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows for certain when all-time highs is going to happen, but I can already tell you that, you know, it's all about the probabilities, right? You need to study the movements down and the movements up, the volume, right? The data. And eventually, because of the movement down from all-time high, I mean, the only way is to count it is a corrective structure. The only bearish case that we have left, which, you know, it's ridiculous to talk about it, really, because it would be a 1-2 and a 1-2 here. But you cannot fit an impulse here. There's no big impulse. You cannot fit a diagonal, because if this is your wave 1 and this is your wave 2, that's your wave 3, 4, right? So you connect your wave 2 and your wave 4. You connect your wave 1 and your wave 3 right there. It would have to be an expanding move, even though if you consider taking this low right there, it would have to be an expanding one, okay? And an expanding move down here is not possible, just because your wave 5 is smaller, right? If we are considering this movement here, if anybody is looking at this to be a 5-wave move down, your wave 5 needs to be longer than your wave 3, which is not the case, okay? Your wave 5 is smaller than your wave 3 here. And obviously, if this were to be longer, your wave 3 would be the smallest wave, which is not possible, okay? So there's no way of counting this as a impulsive move down. And there's only many different ways of counting this as an ABC, 3-wave structure, a WXY. You can fit one right there also. Which obviously you're looking at corrective structures here, which inevitably makes you, you know, the probability, right? It gives you that probability of hitting all-time high at some point. And the overall question in the immediate short mid-term that we have right now, before hitting all-time high, you know, can we form that double zigzag, or will we form a more sideways corrective structure and then hit all-time high? Or will we finish the impulse, an impulsive move here where we do rally a little bit more throughout the next coming days, we correct, claim the high, you know, very, very strong uptrend momentum, and then eventually we correct down and then we take out all-time highs. You know, the overall direction throughout the next coming weeks is rallying to all-time high, right? That's the, we're trying to map out how are we going to get to all-time high, right? And for the moment, there is that chance, guys. You know, I have to say with the analysis, there's still the chance of claiming 107K. So ultimately, we are looking for all-time high. The question is, do we claim 107K? Do we, you know, form a more sideways range if we do claim 119K? If we claim 119K, well, the option is sideways momentum. The low is very likely going to be in, and we just look for a sideways momentum throughout the next 1-2 weeks, and we claim all-time high later on, right? So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, guys, or on the side, basically, because down below there's the description. Comment section is at the right. Ethereum, let's take a look at Ethereum, because you know what? I still have some of the Ethereum short. Very, very good short position on Ethereum. Then it's, you know, kind of almost got stopped out. Okay, let's take a look at Ethereum. If Bitcoin does drop, okay, and the Bitcoin dominance, you know, gets a rally, which I do think we're going to get some kind of a strong dead cat bounce, guys. Maybe 2-3%, right? Which eventually will, you know, if Bitcoin drops, if Bitcoin goes up or sideways, if the Bitcoin dominance gets a bounce, you are going to see some altcoins correcting regardless. But Ethereum, yeah, I think Ethereum is not ready to smash all-time high, guys. I do want to see, and I do see Ethereum breaking all-time high successfully, but this is not the kind of correction that you want to, you know, pump to $6,000 Ethereum. I mean, if that were to be the case, I would label this still your third wave. You're still inside of your third wave here. But because we've already extended pretty nicely from July and August on Ethereum, I mean, from the wave 1 to the wave 2, we you know, this is a pretty good wave 3. You got above the 1.618, even hitting the 2-to-1. This wave is 2 times longer than this one. It's a big, powerful move. We haven't had a nice correction, if we are labeling this the wave 3, right? There hasn't been a long fourth wave corrective structure, which is very, very common, guys. And we talk about the most common things. We got a nice little rally the last few days. You know, cannot deny that. We're going to zoom in on the lower time frame. But it would be so nice just to make it healthy, just to make it a healthy move to then get an epic fifth wave breakout throughout the next coming months. This is not the kind of structure that I like to see. All-time high regardless, okay, on Ethereum. Ethereum is bullish. I only sold 15% of my Ethereum bags because I strongly believe that, you know, we are going to smash all-time high eventually on Ethereum. The moment we break all-time high and we get a significant push, right, regardless if we take out the low, I'm going to unload, you know, 20-30% of my Ethereum bags. Once we cross 5K, you know, 6K, once we get to that zone, I'm already going to unload significant, you know, Ethereum bags, just because I'm not going to time the high. I'm not going to say Ethereum is going to 20K or any of that. I want to take profit, right? I didn't take enough profit in the previous bull run, and I learned my lesson. So when you learn your lesson, you're more conservative with your profit taking, right? And I already took 15% of my spot bags at all-time high. I'm like, yeah, 15% unloaded into dollars. Because, yeah, I mean, you just never know, right? We hit all-time high. That was the main target on Ethereum. Now we are waiting for that squeeze out, which I do think is going to happen eventually, right? 5, 6K, 7K, maybe we hit 7K, guys. But I'm going to be more conservative. I'm happy with the profits. Eventually, when we do take a look at the price action here, it looks unfinished. This is unfinished business without a doubt. Big wave to the upside back in April, May, corrective structure, massive wave here throughout July, August. And you know what we're expecting now, a little bit of shakeouts, a little bit of choppiness, which is literally what happened after hitting all-time high. And there is that chance, okay, not to be fearful. It would just bring a great opportunity if we were to dip below 4K. If we were to dip below 4K, this is where the higher time frame order block comes into play here. And when we consider wave 4s, when we take a look at Elliott wave theory, you've got lots of support here. The order block, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. You know, wave 4 would be nice in the next coming weeks to develop still, and you know, have the potential of claiming, you know, below $4,000, right? It would be nice. It would be nice. Then get the fifth wave, regardless if it's going to be an expansion fifth wave or not, right? Maybe a double top, maybe it's an extension fifth wave. Fifth waves can be longer than the third wave, especially in a hyped up bull run. So if we take the length of the third wave and the fourth wave, yeah, don't worry about the fifth wave being a small wave, because it's very, very common at the end stages of a bull run, if it is going to be an euphoric bull run, that your wave 5 can be an extension. So it can be, you know, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 3, 8, 2. It can be longer than your third wave, which eventually would take us to 7,000 or maybe 8,000. It doesn't really matter. Not too worried about the fifth wave here, but it would make sense for this to be a larger corrective structure, guys. And I think the clearest opportunity zone for Ethereum here, and this is higher time frame. We are looking for all-time highs. We are looking for a successful breakout of all-time highs. But when we consider the opportunity as a swing trade, it starts in this green box. And eventually Fibonacci from the pivot low, because we are considering this the third, fourth wave, and then fifth wave, regardless of where it goes later on. Fibonacci retracement from the pivot 2 here of the wave to the high of the pivot 3. I mean, you know, wave 4s can retrace to the 0.236. It is very common as well. It just doesn't look right for this to be like the flat, and then we absolutely rock it. I mean, it could. We could have formed a flat here. You formed a contracting diagonal in your C wave, right? A 5-wave structure for the flat, and then you know, we correct down and we moon in the next coming weeks. All-time high regardless. I like the fact that we could come down to this area just for new opportunities, right? Especially swing trades, right? If you dip down below $4,000, 382 to the 50% is also common for a wave 4. And it would be nice based on the timing. The timing would be perfect, right? Would be more symmetrical, very nice. And you come to the order block, 382, 50% Fibonacci zone, which eventually that's where you want to see proof of support and signs of a reversal, when this would be the best next big major swing long for Ethereum. Getting into swing longs here, it eventually is not the option. It's not a great option up here, based on the risk management, right? So that's what I would prefer to see here on Ethereum. Based on time, it would be nice to get a zigzaggy structure, sweep up the higher lows, and then come into the next level of support, which is this order block on the higher time frame, and that's where you bottom out. And then then we look for the reversal. This is the 4 hourly time frame, so this eventually would take time. But then then we zoom in, and maybe this was the wave 3, and this is the wave 4 already. You just formed a running flat. You have movement down, movement up, and the contracting diagonal here in a running flat. You're already starting the rally here. You're only just going to correct down, and boom. All-time high regardless if we get this low, guys, right? All-time high breakout regardless. But it would be nice to see some kind of a 3-wave move here. It would be the opportunity area. But some people say, well, maybe it's not going to happen. People are waiting for lower to buy more or to get into swing longs, right? And it's just not going to happen because it's too bullish, right? You missed your opportunity. I would just see it as a new opportunity because I am, still heavily on spot Ethereum. I will sell once all-time high is hit again. But this is looking at a larger swing trade opportunity, okay? If you were to see this as a 5-wave contracting diagonal, which looks very sexy, I have to say. This is a very, very sexy contracting diagonal, without a doubt. You have a 3-wave move up here, which is not great. So, could this be some kind of a flat structure? You just barely hit the 0.9 Fibonacci for the flat. Just barely scratched it. It would be nice. Would be nice without a doubt. Even though it could be a zigzag. Double zigzag structure. Very possible. Very, very... Not going to count this, but overall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This structure right there. Maybe it does actually come down. And once these lows are swept, we need to see that proof of support. And then obviously flip, look for longs eventually. But yeah, that's a little bit of my take here on Ethereum. All-time high regardless, okay? It's just looking at the possibility of going to the lows here, right? Giving a chance for the price to actually get below 4K. It's very much a possibility, in my opinion, that could happen in the next coming weeks, guys. Not to be bearish, just see it as an opportunity. Okay, because this could be a 3-wave move down. It would just be a major opportunity, legends. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, let's we try to break above the value area high of the range. Hitting golden pocket 7-8 zone, and it is the zone to reject if we are going to form a 3-waver. So yeah, we're definitely struggling here on this movement up. And when we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, holy moly, the Bitcoin dominance is like screaming for that relief rally, guys. It is screaming for the relief rally. So yeah, just stay a little bit cautious because there could be one more little shakeout before exploding out. Okay, we are expecting this massive crypto bull run altcoin season, but just looking at the data and the different, Bitcoin dominance, we just want to be aware of a little shakeout first, right? Especially considering Bitcoin where it is. Especially considering Bitcoin. I mean, the whole main idea, guys, that we can form a larger correction here has to do, we've been talking about this for weeks, guys, has to do with this rally. We've had an epic rally since the low in April to the highs in all-time highs here in August. And it's formed a 5-wave move up. And it would be, this is Bitcoin. This could be insanely bullish. We are looking for new all-time highs because this movement down is corrective. But we just need to give a chance and understand that these lows at 107 can be claimed, especially considering timing, right? This has been a massive rally of 3 months in a 5-wave contracting diagonal. And for this to be the low and pump up to all-time high in the next couple of weeks, is not a very common, you know, structure that you do see based on timing. You don't just move down very aggressively and you pump up in a V shape. It's not very common. It's not very common, guys. And obviously, if it's not too common, you know, you need to be aware of the local bearish case scenario and then go to all-time high, right? Get a little shakeout, which eventually would bring that opportunity, and then go to all-time high, right? It's just because of the timing, and timing is never the highest probability tool that you need to use, but it just gives you a little bit of a, you know, this correction is only 20% the time of the major rally. You know, usually you want to see it 30 to 60%, you know, even 100% of time. So yeah, it just would be rare. I mean, that was the main reason that this range and this correction is likely going to still continue throughout September and entering into October, but all-time high regardless, right? And all-time high regardless, just because we can see this as a correction. The movement down from all-time high is a corrective structure. So we understand that all-time high is going to happen, guys, right? Regardless of whatever happens here. If we do form the zigzag, if we do form sideways momentum, if this ends up being an impulse, then we correct down in all-time high. It's all taking out all-time high at some point. So anyway, let's go through the comment section. We can see Aditya here in the comment section here giving love and power, my man. Smash up the like button. Much love to you, Aditya. Phantom, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁, look at the V shape. V shape scenario looks bullish, says Phantom. Yeah, I mean, the momentum is bullish for the last couple of weeks. So love from India, says Gyan. Much love to you, my brother. Much love. Not so bearish anymore. James, still looking at the local bearish case scenario as a possibility. Okay, still looking at the local bearish case scenario as a very much a possibility. Okay, all-time high regardless, right? All-time high regardless, as explained, guys. You need to understand that it's either this, right, or, you know, you continue rallying, you form a shallow correction, and then you hit all-time high. You know, all-time high regardless of what happens here in the next coming weeks. You know, we are looking for all-time high. We're just a little bit cautious on the potential of really topping out here in this region, you know, regardless being 116, 118k to form that double zigzag. And I've seen this before where we have a rally coming into a major bullish event, right? This is you know, it's very a typical sell the news event, right? But you have these speculations right now, just because people now think, oh, people are going to believe that it's a sell the news event, so we're going to likely pump to all-time high, right? You can have so many mixed, you know, sentiment here on this. Interest rate cuts is going to happen. This is bullish. It's up and only, right? Up only. Anyway, let's take a look here at the comment section. Thank you very much, guys, for joining today's live stream. Much love to everyone. Thank you very much for smashing up the like button. Much appreciated. Much love to every single one of you. He don't predict price action. He plans for it. Very much Pau Espinosa. Very good indeed. Yeah, the only major trades that we got in throughout the last few weeks was the long position here to all-time high. I missed the short position. I missed this short. And the long position on Bitcoin, which was not the biggest position here from the lows, okay? From these lows right over here. Which was, I mean, this was actually a pretty kind of an easy execution long from last week, right? The beginning of last week, because I mean, this was the most important level of support, guys, right? It was the point of control of the entire range. And, you know, we had the anchored VWAP from the lows of April, right? And we like the choppiness, the double bottoms, the change of local structure. I mean, it was a relatively easy long to get into to predict the reversal. It's just good support. So anyway, yeah, that was the major long from last week anyway. Let's go through the comment section, see what the people are saying. I'm in schlongs. I'm in shorts and longs. I'm in both sides. What about the Fed pivot, Andy? Historically, after Fed pivot, price dumps like crazy. I mean, this whole thing about when you take a look at when interest rates go down aggressively throughout the previous decades, guys, this is like mind blowing. This is like insane. I mean, I don't know what to trust, guys, with the data out there, right? We know that, I mean, unemployment has gone up ever so slightly. We do have, you know, there's some good things happening and some bad things happening, right? But overall, we are looking to see those cuts, right, of rates. I think there's something's going to pop, guys. I mean, we cannot predict a recession or anything, right? It seems stupid, right? There's people been predicting recessions for over a decade right now. I mean, we know the guy from The Big Short, right? You've probably seen the movie as well. Michael Burry, right? That very well, you know, predicted the crash and went into this big short and made hundreds of millions of dollars, right? He's been bearish forever. He's like always been bearish. He's like, he's never bullish. He's always bearish. But what's interesting about this is the interest rate cuts, right? I don't know, guys. Yes, of course, cutting rates, you know, will be easier access to cash, right? Inflation might go up a little bit, but easier access for cash for people, right? When we've had interest rates increase and get to a plateau, and the cuts starting, you know, we've entered in a recession every single time, guys. Regardless if the recession was 6 months or 12 months, it doesn't matter. But we entered in a recession. Every single time we started cutting rates after having a massive spikes in interest rates. The data is there, right? This has happened always. 1990, start, you know, big spike up, cut rates. It cut more rates because, you know, it was too late. We entered in a recession. Holy crap, you know, we need to bring money flow into the system. The same happened in the dot-com bubble, right? Interest rates go up throughout the 90s, plateau, we start cutting rates, bang, you know, big recession later on. Well, big recession, I mean, just a little crash, you know, for a few months. And obviously the 2008 one, which was increase of rates, hit the plateau, start cutting rates, and then enter that recession. We've been here with high interest rates for a few years now, hit that plateau in 2023, only started cutting a few months ago, but maintained them. I don't know, guys, you know, is this time different? Well, you know, you let me know down below. But everybody's very excited about cutting rates. And this is, you know, cutting rates is when things are not doing that well. Well, apparently in the US, GDP is doing great. It's at 3%. So we are living in the new technological revolution. Maybe this time's different, right? I don't know. All in diamond hands, says Phantom. 1000x long. Let's go, man. You're a legend. Let's pump on out of here. Let's go. Do you think WLFI can get to 30 cents? What is this coin? WFI US dollar. What is this coin? I have no idea what this is. Theta, please can you take a look at Theta? We can take a look at Theta right away. WLFI. WLFI. What is this? I don't know. I do not know what this is. I'm not an altcoin expert. Whew, I don't know what this is, but it's not. Whew, nothing to talk about on this. Let me know, guys. Let's take a look at the poll right away, because the question today, we got 600 votes. We got 200 likes. Let's get to 250 likes, guys. For goodness sake, come on. It's Sunday. I don't need to be here, guys. Come on, legends. Give us a little bit of love. When I see low likes, it's not good, guys. Not good. No bueno. It's not bueno, guys. Smash up the like button, you lazy boogers. 𝗖𝗍 analysis. Let's take a look at 𝗖𝗍. Right? Why not? Why not? A lot of people love 𝗖𝗍. A lot of people love 𝗖𝗍. Getting a little bit of a correction from the rally. Oh, yeah, 𝗖𝗍 looks awesome. 𝗖𝗍 looks awesome. It's a matter of time that 𝗖𝗍 breaks $4.40 here. Yeah, it's a matter of time. The movement up looks insane. Looks insane. The movement's up. Look at this. From this low, you know, bang, 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 right? Really nice impulsive move right there. Which eventually, you know, after this overlappy choppiness, takes out the high. When we take a look at this movement here, look at this. Bang, bang, and bang. This is a very strong move to the upside. And this movement down is insanely corrective. Insane. It's insane how corrective this is. So probabilities on 𝗖𝗍 to take out this high over here is very, very high, guys. It's just, yeah, 𝗖𝗍 is good. 𝗖𝗍 is bullish. 𝗖𝗍 is bullish. Can we have a possibility here of claiming the lows? Which I have to say, you know, if 𝗖𝗍 gets down below this pivot low, start getting extremely bullish, because I mean, this is the moment you want to be extreme. I'm not sure if we will come down there, guys, but the overall direction here, massive impulse, correction, big impulse, very corrective structure. It might not even come down here to this area. You do have already a three-wave structure. I'm just a little bit concerned of this being a three-waver. You're forming a flat here, and then you form another zigzag down. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario, where you form a WXY, you know, corrective structure, which could be possible if we do get a bounce here, short-term bounce on the Bitcoin dominance. Worst case scenario here for 𝗖𝗍 is actually claiming below $3.20, $3.10, which is the low here from the 1st of September. It's like the worst case scenario for a double zigzag. But I mean, yeah, regardless if we do get this or not, it might, if we do correct in the next week, if it's very choppy and very wedgy, guys, get ready, because yeah, we're looking for $4.40 to be claimed here on 𝗖𝗍. 𝗖𝗍 is bullish. The question is, can we form another low or not before hitting the highs at $4.40? Right? I mean, and this is very, we're not bringing any fancy indicators here. It's really understanding that this is very, very bullish. The movements up are very, very bullish. The movements down are very corrective. So a multiple 1-2 here is on the cards, right? It's on the cards here for a multiple 1-2. The question is, can we sweep up the lows in a double zigzag structure, which would be like the last shakeout, right? It would be a pretty devastating shakeout. Lots of people would enter in doubt, but then that might be the one that actually takes out the highs. So it's either correct if we move down in the next coming days, in the next 1 to 2 weeks here on 𝗖𝗍, you really need to kind of identify how are we moving down in the next few days, right? if you move down here, you're moving down right now, you get a bounce, you chop, you don't take out the highs, you claim the lows again, and you start forming this three-wave structure with overlap, right? And it's, you know, very, very choppy. You realize that, you know, you are looking for a bounce here at, you know, 50% Fibonacci, golden pocket, and you're likely going to take out this high, and then this might be the one that takes out the highs at $4.40, right? So whatever happens here, we are looking for 𝗬𝗍 to take out $4.40. Okay, so if you have a mass, you know, longs from lower, it's in your best interest to hold some of those longs. And if you do have a spot bag, I would be pretty chilled, because, you know, at some point in the next coming weeks, you are very, very likely going to take out $4.40 here, and, you know, it might smash through and take out the all-time high. So everything's pointing out very, very good for 𝗬𝗍. Everything's pointing out that 𝗬𝗍 is looking very, very good. We love you, Andy Joe. Well, love to you, my brother. Much love to you. We want you, Andy. I want you too, Phantom. Much love. Hit the like button. Big Don 25, one of the winners of $500. I remember that logo and your name. One of the winners of, you know, a few months ago of $500. Long time since we haven't done a giveaway here. Views have gone down. People don't give a crap really much. But if we do get to 500 likes, I'll be giving $500, guys. Right? New here, good stuff, man. Thank you, Rudy. Much love to you, brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, people, you know, we talk about a lot of Elliott wave here, guys. And a lot of people don't like Elliott wave because it's very complex, lots of waves and lots of scenarios. But it's very, very good. Once you understand Elliott waves, it does give you that edge on the higher time frame. If you're looking for scalps, we don't talk about scalping too much on the channel for a long time. We used to, but we're looking for higher time frame projections, which I think is on for the interest of a lot of the people. Andy, you're amazing. Energy is crazy. Thanks for the inspiration. Outdoorbie, thank you very much, my man. Much love to you. It is Sunday. I'm feeling a little bit tired, but we are here, guys. I've had an awesome weekend. I had some spare time, and I thought, let's go live for the legends. Let me know in the comment section, did anybody get into this epic long position on Solana, guys? I know some of you were maybe taking a look at another stream or something, but we talked about this. My goodness, this was such a good long, guys. Such a good long. That retracement here to the 195. If you would have set your alerts and, you know, you paid attention to that analysis on Solana here to get that retracement, holy moly, to when we were hitting these highs on the 29th of August. Holy smokes, this moved up 20%, guys. Stop loss at, you know, below this higher low, below $185. You know, and you're looking for a 4, 5, 6 to 1 risk to reward, right? I mean, we were looking for that breakout on Solana to happen here very aggressively. I mean, this is like overshooting, but, you know, for the moment, it's on its way with this kind of price action. Solana is, right? And the stream was here when we're hitting the highs, guys. Let's wait for a pullback. You might get another 1-2 here, and another 1-2 happened, and we got the breakout finally this week, right? So, you know, I hope that somebody did get into that long, and stop loss was relatively clear. Stop loss at this low. Look to get into the golden pocket, 50% golden pocket. Stop loss here. You're looking for this breakout to happen, right? As per mentioned here on the stream. Maybe some of you did get into this swing long overall. So yeah, Algo on the weekly. Let's take a look at Algorand. I have to say, I need to give a shout out to Dylan. He doesn't join my streams really that often, but I need to give a major shout out because he's been absolutely crushing it with some altcoins this week on the VIP. I'm looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, higher time frame positions, but Dylan, who is a coach and provides the setups that he's getting in, has been crushing it on Avalanche, XRP, major altcoins. I'm not a major altcoin trader myself, but I do have someone that is very good with altcoins, which is Dylan, you know, providing the setups here and the VIP, guys. If you want access to the VIP, it's super simple to join. You just need to sign up with one of the links down below, which you get insane bonuses, weeks or bluffing, minimum deposit, and we will jump you in the VIP, which I'm sharing my trades. They're mainly swing trade positions, okay? They are boring. They do take a little bit to develop, right? Maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Dylan is very active with the day trade setups on altcoins, okay? Send me a DM, first link down below, okay, to the Telegram to jump you in the VIP, which is super simple to join. Sign up to Bluffin Weeks, one of the exchanges down below. You have your funds, you trade your funds, and we provide the setups that we are getting in, of course. You know, no financial advice, okay? Get those perks down below. Weeks or Bluffin are the mainly favorite ones from the people. Bluffin is great. I use Bluffin a lot. That's where I have my bigger funds there. So, you know, you can join the VIP 1, VIP 2 for fees, 10% cash back on your deposit. Take advantage of that, legends, okay? Bitcoin slowly grinding down, guys. It's going to be an interesting week. If we dump down aggressively in the next coming days with a 5-wave structure or a contracting diagonal, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a moment to believe that a reversal is happening from this uptrend, guys. For the moment, it's bullish, right? For the moment, it's bullish. This is not the kind of pullbacks that I would be incredibly interested in to get into longs personally, guys. Just because we do have that 3-wave move up. It's just me, guys. You do what you want, okay? It's just me. It's a zone to be a little bit cautious about, right? You're going to see a lot of different crypto tubers out there saying that we're going to absolutely fly to the moon and more. But I do believe so. But there is that short-term shakeout, short-term possible WXY. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's possible. It's one of the possible scenarios. And when you have hyped up momentum into interest rate cuts, which supposedly is a bullish event, right, for the markets, and you pump before it happens, it's not usually a good sign, guys. You know, so it's just a zone to be cautious, right? All-time high regardless. So whoever's in longs from lower and has spot bags, you don't really care about what happens here, because, you know, we are looking for all-time high anyway, right, to happen at some point. So just something that for you guys to be aware of, right? Lagging, hit the like button now, says Big Don. Thank you very much for smashing the like, guys. I know some of you enjoy the content, some of you don't. Let me into the Legends community, says someone. I'm not in the Legends. Yeah, Derek, my man. Much love to you, brother. Down because of World War III narrative. It might go down because of WW3. I mean, this has been going on for months now, so we can never speculate on that. The market's going to go down because of WW3, right? It's like, no, a black swan event is going to happen. Nobody knows, right? At the end of the day, I do think, based on the interest rates, this chart is what's predicting the next recession that could be around the corner entering into 2026, guys. It's never failed. It's never failed. The spikes in interest rates to the upside, which we did get in the last few years, and hit a plateau, it's never failed. It never failed. If you take these vertical gray boxes, are the recessions that we got throughout the last few decades. When you have the massive spikes in interest rates up, hit a plateau, and then obviously inevitably down, especially the last 3 decades, it's never failed. Up, interest rates down, recession. Up, interest rates down, recession. Up, interest rates down, recession. So this is like a clear sign that 2020, entering into 2026 could be a little bit shaky. just because of this chart, guys. Not that I want to predict a recession. Recessions are unpredictable, but with this kind of data, you're like, I don't know, man. You know, a lot of people are too excited because of interest rates going down, but it's usually a bad sign. So, and it's just, let me know what you think. So basically, we are cooked in 2026. Well, it's just looking at this chart, right? It's happened throughout the previous decades. So yeah, I mean, you let me know in the comment section. Theta, let's take a look at theta right away for the, you know, for somebody here was asking for theta. Theta, I mean, I have the same sentiment here for theta, ICP, some of the OG different cryptos that are still in this accumulation zone, and I'm very, very skeptical about forming a spring point here. The movement up that we had on theta, I do hold a bit of theta in my portfolio, about 1%, not much. Theta looks good to take out these highs at least at some point, just because the movement down does look quite corrective, but eventually you can take out this low. This movement up, yeah, it does look a little bit more impulsive. You got your 1-2s, 1-2s, 3, 4-5s, 4-5s. You got the 3 here, the biggest wave being here in the middle, so then chopping us up. It does look pretty good from the low to this high to be an impulse, and this to be corrective structure. So I mean, you need to be cautious here because you have the typical trend line breakout. If the movement down in the next coming days on theta is going to be choppy and corrective without any nuke down, right? We don't want to see a nuke down. We want to see sideways range, a bit of choppiness. Don't catch the falling knife because it might just claim the lows here. Same for ICP, same for many altcoins. It needs to chop around, kind of this choppiness. It needs to chop around here for a few days, retrace down to the 50%, chop around, form a 3-wave structure, right, down, and see some overlap. So you want to see this and a bit of overlap here. This is the bullish consolidation after this rally that you want to see, which could take a few days to develop eventually. So this leg up looks good. My main question right now is, will we claim the lows here on theta or not and form a larger correction? I mean, this could still be a running flat. Don't get me wrong. That's the thing. Big move down, running flat. There's still chances in claiming local lows, unfortunately, for many altcoins. ICP, theta, local lows of the range of the last few months. I don't want to be the bear here, guys. Just want you to be aware. Also with the Bitcoin dominance, with that potential short-term bounce for a few weeks. Let's see. Ultimately, Bitcoin, we are looking for new all-time highs. Just let's see if we do correct or range for longer. It is bullish. Bitcoin is bullish. We are looking for all-time highs. I will be back with more tomorrow, legends. If you want intraday setups and where I'm positioning myself on Bitcoin and Ethereum, that is provided in the VIP, okay? VIP community or the Legends Pro community. Make sure to send me a DM right away. It's super simple to join. Just sign up with one of the links down below. Minimum deposit, and we'll jump you in the VIP. Much love to everybody for joining. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.